Hey everyone, welcome. We are doing our first ever live interview, and we're just going to be doing and talking about women in the industry. So I have these amazing ladies around me. Yay! I guess we'll kind of just go around and introduce ourselves and just kind of what you do and your business. And so I guess we'll start at the end here, please.
I'm Abigail, and I am Jacqueline. We own Jar Landscaping LLC in Central Illinois. We mainly focus on landscape maintenance and installation.
Amazing. Awesome. And I guess we'll go to the other end here. We've got
Samantha McClelland with Freedom Landscapes. We're based out of Greencastle, Indiana, and just like the twins over here, we focus on landscape maintenance throughout the year and try to take the winters off.
Amazing.
Yeah, we don't like the snow.
Yeah.
Amen.
It's good to have that balance. And then to also introduce, I'm Jenneka, and this is my sister.
I'm Jana.
And we're J&J Property Pros. We have an all-encompassing service working indoor, outdoor, and pet care.
Yes, so I tend to do more of the indoor cleaning, design, all that stuff, organizing, but then these guys landscape design, and then we all, of course, because we love
pet
the animals.
Pet
care is the favorite.
And then again, thank you for Echo. We're all a part of Echo Means Business. Make sure that you definitely check it out for resource. So much to learn, so much to know. But I think we'll kind of just jump right into this here. So I guess, ladies, I want to kind of start off with what challenges do you all face, and how do you overcome, and how did you overcome some of the challenges as being a woman in a male-dominated industry, really typically? So what do we bring to this? Feel free to just kind of challenges you've had.
Yeah. Well, like we talked before,
recent,
challenges. It's kind of different each and every day. There's physical challenges when you think about the work that's being done. Both Josh and I are the ones who run our company, and he definitely carries the majority of the physical labor. It's just,
Jared,
it's just for us. Physically, it's definitely different. And then from my point of view, also the balance of in this industry, because especially during the summer seasons and stuff, it's sun up to sundown, but I'm trying to balance, motherhood on top of that as well, with our kids and trying to make that work. And then just being seen as, I think this is something we've talked about before, just being seen as being able to be taken serious, that Josh and I own the business. Yes, we own it together, and whatever
you have equal parts, right?
And whatever needs to be done, or whatever questions a client has, like I'm just as able and knowledgeable and competent to answer and take care of those things as he is. So those are definitely some challenges that we come across, because it doesn't always go that smoothly.
Yeah. And how would you say you've kind of overcome, or what have you said to clients to kind of solidify, or what would you say
to overcome? Just being persistent. Just being persistent with the fact of whenever you start to get that notion from somebody that maybe they're not taking you as serious, or they're kind of
pick up on those cues.
It's just being persistent with the fact that hey, I'm the one that I can take care of you, I can deal with this, I can help you through it, we can meet, I can do the quote. We can talk about it.
The same thing.
Yes. It's just being persistent and just being like, you're going to have to deal with it.
Showing up and saying, hey,
and just proving yourself. That's really, it's just
embrace it.
Ladies fully owned and operated, but what is... So kind of the same question.
Kind of like the same thing, like being taken seriously. Sometimes we've had problems with that.
Also, you being so young as well,
right?
It's early like 20s. Right. So it's two things. So tell us more about that.
So with that, sometimes people don't realize that we own the company. They think that we have a boss. So then they're like, oh, who are you working for? And we're like, well, it's just us. But
right. We own. And so I'm sure same for you. It's pretty much the persistence of just showing up and saying,
just embrace it and use it as a benefit.
Show that you know what you're doing, and then try to be as professional as possible too, because it does put on that that you know what you're doing.
Well, and it's funny you brought that up, the professionalism, because how
Yeah.
easy is it? And I think also being a woman, right? Sometimes I think we can all be a little
Sassy.
spicy,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
it's like trying to hold your tongue
Yeah.
and trying to be professional. I mean, what are your thoughts on professionalism and
Well,
you know,
having clients that, I mean, when you're talking specifically about when maybe they aren't taking you seriously, you still, even though I know, at least I can speak for myself, that I take that personally because I'm just like, you know, I've worked really hard and I know these things and I'm, you know, learning them and I can do it. So just being able to, like you said, hold your tongue, but at the same time, I've learned that just being persistent and I'm not going to conversate in like the comments they make and stuff. I'm just going to repeat the same 2 or 3 things that I need to say, hey, like I said, you're kind of stuck with me, and just putting my foot down. And I mean, that's just not getting too emotional about it, because that's hard for me, because I mean, I'm just an emotional driven person, but just the biggest thing is just putting my foot down and making sure to stay professional about it and not, like I said, not conversate too much to where I'm like, you know what, listen. Listen. You know, not going
like,
that
do you
far.
want to hear what I really want to say?
We joke, actually. Our brother pretends like he is Jenneka's translator, and like what she would actually want to tell a client.
He goes, this is what you really
This is
want
what she
to
really
say.
wants to say, and then we just laugh about it because it's true. And she is so, Jenneka, I will say, you are so professional when dealing. Sometimes when we don't want to deal with anymore, we're like, Jenneka, here you go.
See, I'm thankful for Josh in that aspect, because there's lots of times where, even though, like I said, even though I come across with the front on a lot of things, and you know, I'm the frontline communication with a lot of our clients. There's times when, I mean, I run emails by Josh, or I'll have to vent some things out first and be like, how, and he's like, hold on, let's look at this, and I'm like, okay, I'll jump the gun, and you know, that's part of learning how to run a business. I mean,
It is, and sometimes you kind of can get down on yourself, like, okay, I should have known this, or I should have done that, but it's fun to be able to bounce things off, because again, our brother brings a different aspect to it. Sometimes it's true, we can get a little emotional. Well, I read that text or email,
and it was different.
It didn't come across to me
do you
like
find that
that
between you two?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, how do you bounce?
Yeah, sometimes you see like different perspectives. So yeah, we usually just talk about it before.
It's so nice to have somebody else to like, if you're second guessing yourself, it's nice to have somebody else to kind of
we
go over it and
we
be like,
always run things by each other before anything.
And it's so important, I think, to definitely do it 2 and 3 times, at least as a protocol, because it's true. It's like you just want to send this heated email off, and you're like, you know what, let me revise this. Sometimes I've even noticed I've written something out, and then I go back and I say, all right, let me edit this. Let me, you know, it's like redacted. You know? So agreeing, bouncing things off of each other. Thank God there are 3 of us too, as to just bounce ideas off
and
of,
different
have a
aspects.
balance.
Exactly.
And we were talking before, you have an HR background as well, and so how did that help with the business and just kind of starting things off?
Well, I mean, like I had mentioned before, we definitely, I'm thankful for, thanks.
Thank you.
Thankful for, you know, we have a very knowledgeable CPA, but I think it gives Josh a peace of mind, you know, because like I said, he's the one who has the background in landscaping. I came in as like chasing this dream with him, you know. He has presented it all, and I've just been like on the coattails of, this is awesome, you know. As far as the actual physical work and what the green industry is, but yeah, as far as the HR, then I was able to bring in, you know, once we moved to an S Corp, I was able to bring in understanding the labor laws and then the payroll things, and you know, just that kind of lingo. I was able to, you know, bring support in that fact where I can take care of those things.
Being women in business, that's an aspect that Josh wasn't necessarily able to bring.
Right.
Because
exactly.
it would have been more one-sided if you weren't able to come in and bring.
Yeah,
that
I mean,
aspect of what you have.
he's super, you know, he's super good at picking up on those things and stuff. But like I said, he's you know, he's been in the green industry for, you know, ever, and that's what he's done and what he knows. And so being able to bring those 2 things together has really, I think, helped us.
For you too, so Samantha was able to bring that aspect of HR and helping her husband, and they melded both things together to make a wonderful business. How was it for you starting and kind of just, again, females in the industry,
kind of
young,
blazing a trail.
young,
really are.
I know you
So
have a
admirable.
horticultural background as well, so tell us a little bit more about that.
So we started our business on our 18th birthday. So
Yes,
we were
girl.
in high school. We were
Amazing.
we
Yeah,
were
that's
17. We were just like researching everything we could about business. We were like terrified of the tax situation.
Yeah.
We hear you.
I think we all,
Yep. And we didn't have
Lining
like
everything up.
anyone that we could go to like say, hey, like what do we need to do? So after school, we would just go home and research it all. So then on our 18th birthday, because we could legally file it then, so we went in and filed our LLC.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That is so,
so cool.
it really is.
Yes.
It really is.
And being so young, definitely wise beyond your years. So to have that aspect of let's set this up right the first time.
Yeah.
Because
And
we have some difficulty setting things up the first time.
Yeah.
Now we're much better, but. So I'm sorry,
tenacity
as
of you girls.
I'm
Yeah,
going
no,
off on a tangent about just how amazing you all are. Amazing women here. Please continue.
Then we went to college for landscape horticulture. We went there for 4 years. We were running like part-time on weekends after class, anything we could do. And then we graduated a year or so ago, and now here we are.
That's what we were talking about earlier. The whole like now you guys are full time and everything. Do you feel like this is just me jumping in?
No,
do you
no.
feel like
Yeah,
do you feel
no,
like now being full time, because in our situation, like I said, Josh carries at this point right now. He does the majority of the physical work and things like that. But now that you guys are full time versus, you know, when you were going to school and stuff, do you feel like it's going in the direction that you wanted it to go? Like what is different than what you were expecting whenever you're like, okay, we're going to go full time? So versus, I guess, what you imagined where you're at, is it what you expected?
Yeah, I think we've really grown to like where we kind of were wanting. Like we still want to grow a lot bigger, but it's been going a lot smoother than we had expected.
Yeah,
That's good.
Yeah, and it's a lot easier now that we can focus on the business rather than having
all the
it all
classes,
over the
school
place.
and all that.
That's so funny because I was actually going to ask
aspects.
too, like,
So many
how do you feel more empowered because you actually put yourself through, like, you know, doing the work of school and education?
Yeah.
While juggling.
When we first started, we were like, people aren't going to take us seriously if we have no background in this or
The
so
credential.
young.
Yeah.
So now that we can go to our clients and we say, we have like a degree in horticulture,
It just adds to our
more than
confidence.
like
We know our stuff. We know what we're talking.
The
We can bring
amount of knowledge, because I've actually I've reached out to you guys before whenever we had a small little landscape thing, and because we're in the same like kind of region, you know, only a couple hours away from each other. But I've actually reached out to them before and been like, hey, I have a client who wants this, because, you know, I've not been, you know, through the education they have. But I was like, we have a client who's interested in this, you know, what do you suggest? Or, you know, this timing. But I've reached out to them before and been like, hey.
This is the beauty of Echo Means Business,
Yes,
though, right?
exactly.
I mean,
Yes.
because it's true for
100%.
us too. We didn't even know the resource, and we didn't even know about the EMB and the networking, the connections. It's just
Because it's true.
highly recommend.
And even as women in the industry, it's true. You can almost feel kind of almost isolated because of you're like, am I the only one? Like, is this crazy that I'm doing this too? And then
It's
here
amazing
you have
that,
this amazing
that you've
community, and you're just
connected,
like, oh my goodness,
and that you're in the same region.
no,
and you wouldn't have known that if it wasn't for Echo Means Business.
It was. I
connecting
mean,
all of us.
I think
so
just
amazing.
being part
of the family.
You know, that coming into Echo Means Business and following, you know, because last year, this is, you know, first year for Josh and I as far as the UAG, but you guys were in it last year, and that's how I had started to get to know them and follow.
amazing.
And I know
Connection.
that, just EMB in general, for me, I think has given me a lot of confidence and support in my role
resource.
in our business, you know, and because I'm able to see so many other women, and I can, not that I wouldn't reach out to one of the guys or whatnot, but it's really nice to just be like, hey,
I have this platform.
Yeah, I'm kind of new to this, or I have a question, and knowing that there's females who see it as well, and that sometimes there's that thought process where they're kind of
we
like,
can all,
hey,
relate to each other.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Issue too. I'm the only one.
Yeah. So that's been
it's nice.
It's definitely been really nice.
You're not alone. You're not alone.
It's made me feel like it's given me a little bit of to want to excel more and learn
it's that
more.
Right, it's like a certain confidence.
You feed off of each other.
Yeah, 100%.
Nice. Now, what do we feel, ladies, as being women in this industry? What do we feel we bring to the table? What can you say or think of that's like, you know what, I bring this to the table when I'm out there in terms of business, and it's like, what do you feel you bring to the table?
I'll let you guys go first. You go first.
We've kind of talked about this before, like bringing in that extra detail that others like wouldn't, so you can kind of use that as a way that like that's how you stand out from the other companies. You do have that little extra aspect of it. It's kind of, I don't know.
Right, it's a little bit of an edge above the rest. I think for us too, a lot of times we've actually won certain jobs just because of the female aspect of how we, in a sense, bring a certain nurturing aspect to the industry.
Or even sometimes when a woman is kind of
details,
like trying to figure out, okay, like outdoor spaces or even indoor, trying to find a solution for their home. When they can talk to another woman, they're like,
say a lot of times
it's
a husband and wife team, and the wife typically is like, I really want this, and the husband just make her do something, whatever her happy, whatever she wants, because I don't know, make her happy. And so sometimes they feel a little bit more comfortable talking with me or with the woman in Jared. Jared would just say, I'm just here. And he's like, good, glad you can talk.
Or again, sometimes
it makes everyone feel a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah. And there's definitely like the you talk about the attention to detail and stuff like that. I give Josh 110% credit, because when we go to walk away from a property, like if it's not perfection, it's not good enough. And so there's plenty of, he is like, the detail he sees, it's amazing, and I'm super proud of that when I know that we can walk away and like he's got that.
You're proud of
but we've gotten to the point, just because it works with our schedule and it works for what we're doing, is that a lot of the estimates that come in or whatnot, like you're talking about, I'm usually the first point of contact, and then I'll go out and I'll get all the details. And so presenting that, I do think, because you just notice, when, at least in our area, statistically, it's somebody who's probably, let's say, 45 or older, who's calling to have this work done. And a lot of times it's a female who, for whatever reason, family's not near or something. And so, you get into that. And so when I'm the first face, they say, even though, Josh is super, he's easy to come to.
Same with our brother.
Like there's nothing.
Fun-loving guy.
Super comfortable to interact with, but just seeing me pull up and come out and, just being able to listen to what's going on and discuss it.
It's unalarming.
Yeah, it's different, and I think that they like that. And then, of course, Josh gets out there, and then they're just in love with Josh.
Right.
So great.
But I think also
kind of us, Jared, if we do an outdoor estimate, things like for landscaping, and we go, and it's true, sometimes they feel just more comfortable initially talking, like, okay, I can contact you, and I feel so comfortable. And then Jared, again, the fun-loving, brings the humor and all the things. We love it. So,
but it's
that balance.
Getting to hear all aspects, in a sense, is really beautiful to see how even either husband, wife, siblings, sisters, being able to encourage each other. I think there's the encouraging role. Like you play such a beautiful encouraging role for your husband as well. Just because it's not just like, it's not any one of us running the show in a sense.
Exactly.
It's like bringing different aspects, and
it's ours changes. With Josh and I, it changes throughout the year. It changes all the time. Who's doing what or how much weight. Like I said, there's sometimes when I'm a lot more active in the field, like especially in early spring and stuff like that. I mean, I'm a lot more active. And then, you know, whenever the kids get, you know, school starts and sports start and things like that, and, you know, trying to balance schedules, and then I'm not in the field as much, but I'm still carrying a lot of the weight on the back end, doing the billing, you know, being first point of contact and trying to keep up with social media and stuff like that. You know, all of those things, you know, but he's still carrying, like I said, the majority of the physical weight, and so it's just constantly trying
and it's
to,
such a beautiful balance too, you know,
trying to find that balance can be frustrating sometimes, but we make it work, you know. I mean,
I think that might be true even in anyone's business. I think, like you said, finding that balance. I know
like you had said, typically we're front runners for, you know, the estimating, the emails, the invoicing, and all of that. And a lot of times, Jared, we have a huge project, and Jared goes, "Okay, I got this. I'm on it. I'm working on materials, this and that." And he's like, "Okay, here it is. You can do the estimate." And it works out quite nicely, and it's just nice to have that balance of the male female. It really, it's like you're only as good as the male supporting you, and vice versa.
Because it really
it's true. It's like, yes, we're women in the industry, but it's like our brothers so often. I'm sure your husband, and I'm sure you've had figures too that manly figures that have just said, "Hey, you can do this," and you bring something to the table. So it's like it's been nice, and we've been blessed to have the male figures in our lives that are very supportive of us and said, "You do bring this to the table.
You can do this. You need to do this."
So it's like listening to that voice and going, you know what? Whatever anyone else says or thinks, I'm taking that and moving forward with it.
And see, that's something that, like, also being in, like you said, normally a male-dominated industry, and then being a mother myself, and we have 3 girls and 2 boys, and it's being able to show them that there's times that mom comes in and she's just as much a wreck as dad is because it's been a day and we're covered and it's grass and this or that. And them being able to see that, it gives them that it's not just mom at the desk all the time, and that a woman can, I'm so blessed that they get to see that, you know, they can do whatever they want, you know, whatever they want to do. If they want to go into, you know, a field that not a lot of women are in, or they want to go into a corporate type of,
offer something
you want, you know?
Exactly.
So that's one of the blessings that I've told Josh before is whenever, you know,
that's beautiful.
Whenever he called me and said, "Hey, we're buying this business. I'm buying this business, and it's we now." You know, it very me went to we very quick, and so and I love it. But like I'm very blessed with the fact that, like you said, having that balance between the two, but being able to show our kids that, you know, women in the industry, you can be in any industry that you want, and I just love that they see that. I don't really know that many of them are, you know, that my girls are really interested in it. They're at that age now. They're like, "Man, that's really hard work." We've had our daughter go out on some cleanups and stuff, and you know, they try putting that big backpack while we're on, and I'm like, I get it.
Here's your exercise
It's
time.
hard, you know, but it's. I'm just really happy that they see that, you know, there's so many different options. Do what you want. You know, be happy. That's
like you can. It's like if that is a passion or something you want to do, it's like pursue it.
Well, our oldest daughter, she just turned 17 yesterday, actually, and she's taking welding in high school. And
that's amazing.
And my brother, he's a fabricator and he welds and stuff. So she's seen that before, and now she's just got this interest. And I'm like, there's only I think there's 3 girls in the class, and there's 12, 15 kids in the class, and I'm like, go for it, and she loves it. You know, absolutely, like has a passion for it, and I'm like,
and it just even more unique too, because it's like, wow, what you want to do that? That's
she's like, I want to do this, and I kind of, and I kind of questioned her. I'm like, are you sure? I wasn't expecting that, and like said, she did, and she got in it, and I'm like, go for it.
That's amazing. It's so really funny you said that, because we have our honorary niece, we call her, and she's like, she's only 8, and she's like, you know, I want to be a butcher, and like, we're like, wait, what did you say? She's like, I just love, because she grew up on a farm as well and deals with animals. She's like, I just want to do it in a beaut way. And, you know, so it's
farm
like,
to table.
Exactly. It's like, it's so unique that we're like, oh, okay, that's
go for it.
And it's funny too, because sometimes even with landscaping in this industry, we've said, you know, sometimes you don't necessarily choose it; it almost chooses you.
Right.
Yeah. And I feel like I wanted to kind of add, like, how did you, from a young age, like, I want to have a landscaping business? I mean, I know for us that wasn't
Yeah.
That wasn't the case.
I wasn't there.
No.
Right? Were you?
Yeah, girls. Yeah.
Was anyone dreaming of it when?
No.
It started in high school when we took like ag classes.
Okay.
We were put in horticulture classes, stuff like that, and we realized like, oh, this is really cool. Like, no one says like, hey, you can go career in this. So we applied all over to see if someone would hire us for landscaping, but no one ever called us back. So
Do you feel like that's because you were younger girls?
Yeah.
I mean, do you feel like that's what it was?
Yeah.
Probably the experience, right?
Yep. And we
They
were
go
like,
resume. You've been, know, but the experience.
Yep. So we were like, well, if we're going to go to college for this, we want to make sure we actually like it before we go to college. And
Right.
this
Right.
Like, no, we're just going to do it.
Horns in my hands all day from trimming these pruning roses and all that.
Yep. So we just went out. Some people let us go in their yards, do the work for them, and then that's when we realized, hey, we can do this full time. So we told our mom, like, hey, we're gonna start a business, and she's like, wait, what? Like, same reaction, and they just supported us the whole way. So it's awesome to be able to see everyone like you guys out there.
It's
very
amazing.
inspiring.
And I mean, you ladies, you're out there, you're mowing. You have all the trucks and equipment, and you care for all of it. I mean,
you girls are fixing a lot of it too. I know, sometimes you're like, oh, I'm working with
yeah.
grandpa or something. That is
multifaceted. It's just, I mean, people just, we're amazed.
That's
we're
where it's a step up from like anything that I know
it's
that
like
I do or anything.
Right.
I'm like, something's not working. It goes to job.
Right.
Where I go when I take it to the shop.
Exactly.
Like,
My brother's tried to stick me under because I'm smaller, and he's like, here, go ahead, you can go under. I'm like, what am I even
It's like,
looking
just tinker with it.
just knocking on stuff. Like, is this
it's pretty cool, though. It's a great
Because I was like, did you just kind of start with the mechanic? Like, how did you even?
Our grandpa helps us with some of that stuff, so he always like tells us
Mentor,
like girls can do anything they want. So he's
so
kind of been
awesome.
like that.
Getting back to the
empowerment.
males around.
it's true.
He's ever since like high school, he's been telling us like, hey, you can do anything you want, no matter like what other people say.
Yep.
So he
Go grab it.
every time we call him, he's like, what do you need?
Oh, that's so awesome. Now, does he like
Support
try to
system,
like walk you through it at first?
Yeah.
He's just like, try this, try that.
And he lets you kind of do like you
and
see
you
this.
get to be hands on.
Yeah, he's given us like all the tools and stuff that we've
Shout
needed.
out to
Grandpa.
Yes, that's amazing.
Again, all the men in our lives that encourage us.
Yeah.
I think that's such a crucial thing about being a woman in this industry is just also having the wonderful, strong men in our lives who support us. It's like, you can do this. They're not too arrogant to say, well, only I can do that.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know that
is
a struggle as well. So we've been the fortunate ones, so blessed to have.
And it's not that we've not seen that. It does
Right, because
happen.
it's
It
out
is
there.
out
You've
there.
experienced
You've
it all.
We've all experienced not
So
being
it's
taken.
scheduling
scheduling. Who does that? Who takes on
those
that
aspects.
role? Who does that aspect?
Because God knows.
I'll tell you from our point of view and from the way it goes, that's Josh.
Okay.
He can look at a property and like I can look at a property and I can tell the work that needs to be done, but he can look at it and he can, within 4 seconds he can be like, okay, this is going to take 53 minutes and 70 or 60 some
down
seconds,
to the
whatever,
second,
you know,
right?
yeah.
Down to the
I mean, he's got it. Like he just knows. Like I can be like, I know it's going to take longer because there's more trees and that's a pine tree.
Right,
Like I see
terrain,
all
like-
of that, but he can get it down to the time, and so he can go through and look at a day. And because we've really focused on one of the biggest things that we focused on this year is route density. We have drastically
Funny you
changed.
brought that up.
We have drastically changed, whether it's dropping clients. We had a very upscale lake neighborhood that we had serviced, but it was about a 17-minute drive there from one route to that one, and then it was about altogether could spend 2-3 hours up there, but then another 17-hour drive. And so whenever we started like encompassing that, and not all of them were full service, the majority of them were just mowing. They didn't get fall cleanups, they didn't get spring, they didn't get trimming. And so we looked.
Worth it.
So this spring we dropped that whole. We dropped that whole route. That because it just wasn't there. And so
it's making those decisions.
Yeah, and figuring out what works. So like he handles that, and then like I said, I get on the back end. He tells me I go into Jobber and I get it all set up. But he's the one who's like, this is the way it needs to be, and he can he's got that vision a lot better than I do in our.
and it's equal parts because then you put it in.
Yeah, and then I get it all in there, and
so
he just
it's
tells
wonderful,
me what to do.
right? It's like
And
perfect.
Yeah, ladies, for you as well.
She usually does most of the scheduling and like the office work. She uses Excel quite a bit. I don't really know much of that, so we just let her do all of that.
Yeah.
Like,
Are you an Excel geek? Like, do you get excited when you learn new formulas to make it work?
All of it is like
formulas.
I love it.
We've tried Jobber, QuickBooks, and stuff like that, but I always go back to the Excel just because it's laid out how I like it.
Yep.
Right,
And
you have your
can,
system in place.
Yeah, and with Excel, I mean, you can absolutely, you just do whatever you
Yeah, you
want.
can
Like,
do
you don't
anything.
have any limitations. You make it work. So I get that.
I just actually started getting into the world of Excel and have been loving it. Just because it's true, you can format it the way you need it.
She's volunteering. Do you want me to put that in a spreadsheet?
I was like, I can We're like, yeah, it is. Like, it's all
My brother
organized.
and I are like, sure, of course.
Because
more
organization in what we do is so key because there
Yeah.
are so many moving parts.
Yes.
I mean, between scheduling and team and this and and you just need everyone to know and be able to see it on a larger scale than just, oh, well, here's a quick text or here's, it's like it has to be planned out
That's
a week
part-
or a month
yeah.
in advance.
Yeah.
That's part of scheduling.
Jobber
is
as
like
well for us.
scheduling, like at the end of the day, to like go back through our phones and be like, okay, did we miss emails, and communicating that to each other.
Right.
Like I'll be like, hey, don't forget, I got this, and you need to do that, and he'll be like, hey, I need you to take care of this, and like scheduling just the time out to get. Because it's like we take it all in all day long. There's all this, and then we have to kind of sort it out and figure out who's doing what at the end of the day, too. I mean, as far as that type of scheduling, like we've got to do that and figure out who's doing what.
It was funny because recently we had a client that the team was supposed to get there on a Tuesday, and through Jobber it sent out the automatic, like, oh, the team will be here at such and such time. And in our industry and what we do, between weather, certain thing with a route change or a client asks for more at this.
Changes all the time.
It teaches us to be very patient and flexible. And this one client, I mean, they did not enjoy the fact that the day had to get switched, and we were trying to communicate with them the best we could.
Sure.
And so they said, oh, I thought this date, but... And so we realized at that point that we said, okay, now we're going to start giving ranges of time.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
hey, they're
what
going to
we've
be
had
here
to do.
between Tuesday and Thursday, and this, and it's kind of
time and
helping
that time.
mitigate that issue of, well, you were going to, and they get disappointed because, oh, we were expecting this work, and it didn't happen that day. And it's like, well, they can be there tomorrow, though. But they said, but you said you were going to be here today, So it's, for us, we've been noticing giving that range of time.
That's definitely
Instead of just
like
a set date. You try to have a set date, but some
time
wiggle
has
room,
even
flexibility.
So
I
many
mean,
variables.
are you all on
exactly.
that? Right. What do you do?
Have a
and then trying to and then you have the ones, I mean, it's really, you just have to go with every client's so different.
Yes.
So different.
And
So
trying
different.
to figure out
Case
how to
sensitive.
communicate to each client, because you have the ones who like they want you, well, you said this day, but then you give a range and they're like, well, then they're not happy with the range because they want something more specific. And it's like, so trying to figure that out and just sticking to, that's where, like I said, coming as the front runner of communicating to clients is learning, kind of each individual personality and how you're going to deal with it and be like, this works. And we've talked about that when scheduling jobs and stuff, and it's been like, well, we really need to schedule this job because she likes this or that, and it won't work on this day. And so, we try to accommodate that person best we can. But at the end of the day, we're still a business, and we can't just leave holes in the schedule because it doesn't work for somebody. It's like, this is our availability, and this is when we can do it. I mean, I don't want it to be a take it or leave it type thing, but there comes a point when you have to be like
your business.
And you only have so much team. It's
You, in a sense,
around.
you do have to organize because clients will, and they oftentimes just want you to tell them what to do or what needs to be done because other than that, they'll go off on tangents as well. So it goes, this is what's going to happen. Okay, that's great. Perfect. Let's do that.
Sure.
But like you said, it's true. Clients are not all created equal, and you have to deal with them differently. And it's such an amazing industry, this service industry, because it's true. You have to deal with so many different things,
different,
mental, physical. It's just Yeah, spiritual.
Yeah,
It's
literally
all
everything.
aspects. No, it's true. Mental, physical, spiritual. It's all aspects, right?
And learn
so
how to just go with all of it.
Right. Go with the
Sometimes,
flow.
and sometimes, and you have to learn when to be like, we're not a good fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That-
The
another
no's,
crucial-
The no's in
That's
business
right.
sometimes have been the most valuable
Yeah.
things, and you're
Decisions
just like,
we've
okay,
made or
no,
the no's
we're
we've
not doing.
said.
Yeah, no.
Yes. It's been helpful for our business.
Oh, very helpful.
Yeah. And you ladies as well with just again scheduling clients. Would you probably say similar things that it's just
Yeah, you just kind of have to
roll with
figure
it,
it
roll
out
with
and-
it. Yeah. No, agreed. It's funny because again we've had so many times again when they just like we want you to do this or we need you to do the project and you're trying to schedule a team out or you're trying to and sometimes
be
team
efficient.
right and again going back to route density and all these things we've been trying to work on that I know more so this season as we're growing and expanding and as we have different we have the cleaning and pet care and certain
And so
things,
you're trying to, and so you're trying to get like team for the certain things, and
Wrangling,
then sometimes you literally have team from all aspects. Like you have indoor team there as well as the outdoor team, and everybody's all. Some clients are like, "This is great. This is so
It's
cool.
all
The
happening.
whole team is here." And
all
some
the
people,
clients want the full service,
or
which is
some people are
amazing. It's a
overwhelmed.
one-stop
So they're
shop.
like, "You all are here at once. Oh my goodness,
Right,
let me go
all the
hide."
purple shirts just red.
Yeah, and you're like,
I'm like, okay.
and then you're like, "Oh, we have to schedule that differently," But it depends.
I mean, also, what are your thoughts on team members and acquiring team and
It's been for us.
what
this
resource?
year. So we've normally, I would say on a standard since we've been in business, we've normally carried 1 to 2 team members. And it's been, and of course we started our business right before COVID and then there were so many different changes. And we've always, Josh has taught me this wonderful way to look at things is that it's okay if somebody leaves as long as they leave better than they came in. It's not always the way that it goes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you take somebody in and they're not a good fit and then you find that out and it works however.
Right.
And so like we talked about earlier, having team members, like I said, we've normally carried 1 to 2 team members, but we've gotten to the point that we moved forward so much in the business and we grew and the work was still coming in, but we were noticing that some things weren't working out right or the way that we thought that they should. So now we're, choosing, we're scaling back where it's just Josh and I under. I mean, when I run payroll, it's me and him, it's the two of us. And scaling back and looking at all the things that happened whenever we were moving forward previously, and kind of restarting that. And so no team members right now, but trying to get them, you look at somebody and you're like, we're going to start when the sun comes up. I can't tell you when we're going to be done. I know you want to be off. I can't
job
tell
description.
I can't tell you when it's going to be done.
Right.
It's hot. It's going to be exhausting.
You get paid to tan and work out.
Yeah, that's
That's ours.
Exactly.
Tan and work out.
It's hard work.
Yeah.
But that's where something I've always told Josh that like in our business, it's always been important to me that if we have a team member that I never ask anything of anybody that I can't do myself. So that's why I've been able to grow in our business the way we have, and that's what's driven me, because it's like, we bring, a 20, 22-year-old, team member male on, and I'm out there saying, hey, I think you should do this or that. Like, who wants that? Like, you don't, and from a female perspective. So I want to be taken seriously, and I want to be seen as knowledgeable. So that's been a big part is, in my growth has come in with team members. It's like, that's pushed me to want to do more too.
You bring up such a great point. Yeah. No, same.
Yeah.
I could say the same for us as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, just trying to learn
Because
based
you're
on them.
out of your comfort zone in the sense of, wow, I have to teach someone so
Right.
that they can pick up the vision we have as
Yeah.
well and carry that same spirit of excellence or
and creating those modes and
they
methods
see what
and
you
systems
see.
so that you can actually truly empower someone to be able to do the work.
Yep.
Which for this, I think for us for this year too, like we've been really trying to grow team just because of like the workload and just trying to, truly find again the team. It has been a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
It's been a challenge.
We've
It's
had some
hard.
great people, and then like sometimes it just doesn't work out, or and then And so it's just kind of been that learning curve this year as well for us in a sense of just like, okay, how am I teaching? How am I? Because it's true, like
it's reflective because
it's been, I know it's made me in a sense think and better myself in a sense of like, okay, how am I going to convey this so that it's easy to learn for someone who either has 20 years of experience or who has none? You know, how do we empower them in our systems and how we do things so that they're detailed, they are comfortable, and they just feel like, oh, I can just go and they're confident.
And how to grow the same passion in them that you have. That's what I found. You know, trying to get somebody to have the same vision, you know, which, I mean, at no point, I don't think, because when you
inspiring others.
I mean, because when you're an entrepreneur, that's just a mindset.
Right.
Josh, I think, was a natural born entrepreneur. He grew me into it. And it took a lot. So the thought of trying to bring somebody in, and we've tried to give them all the resources to see the way that we see. But I mean, I guess when you're not the one at the end of the day who sees the bottom line of every detail, that's been the hard thing, is trying to just find another person who's passionate about the green industry, not just our business, but passionate about the finished product. And what
standing
it can
behind.
be. That's been, I think, one of the biggest struggles for us. So, have you guys thought
I was just going to say,
I can't wait to hear. I'm wondering where the thoughts are.
Right now, we're just like stuck in a situation where we have more work than we can handle, but we're not quite sure it's enough to like add on someone.
It's the hardest decision.
It is.
I was just going to say,
such a hard,
knowing
when it's the right time.
Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Right.
Like, what do we?
And then we want to like still be able to like cherish the moments that we're having now. That we're not like jump into it and then like, oh well, I kind of wish we were back down to where we used to be. And
that's what happened. I mean,
do we want to
same
grow and be at this for the rest of our life, or do we want to kind of gradually go into it, like
have teams so you can step away.
Like we see all these other people and they're so inspiring, and like we wish we could be where they are, but we know that we need to kind of to the point where
it's
it's
the crawl, walk, run. It's really that
and every day is different.
Sometimes
it's like you're sprinting and you think. I mean, it's constantly for us when Josh and I talk about it. Constantly, it's like one day we're going for it and we need this, and the next day we're like, no way.
After that fall cleanup, you're going,
you know, where you deal with a client and things like that. I mean, there's been times where, I mean, we have a pretty good balance between commercial and residential clients, but I will tell you that my experience here lately with commercial, and like I said, from being a woman, that my experience has not been great, where I've had to be like, listen,
let me tell you what's going down.
Let me read the text back to you that for some reason you don't remember sending and saying it this way. Like, let's
text, email,
let's
having it in writing. That's good job.
Here lately, I mean, the commercial accounts, there's been some that have requested, and I've looked at Josh and been like, no, I don't want to do it. And he's like, well, hold on. And I'm like, it gets frustrating because, like I said, once they put that, that experience to you where they've not taken you seriously or something, I'm just like, it's not right. And he's like, no, we've got to work on this, this client relationship and stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah, and that's just it, having the patience to deal with that. Do you ladies deal with more commercial or residential?
Like much split between half.
What have you found the same as Samantha and what we're saying?
Our commercial properties are like small places, so they're not like big like commercial properties, but like locally
restaurant
owned.
Or local.
It's not like really restaurants. We have a Dairy Queen, but it's locally owned.
Nice.
So people.
Right.
And then just like insurance companies. So
nice.
I found that it's really nice to make relationships with the ones who you get to see face to face, or you talk to. Because like I said, some of our commercial ones, they're ones where they're out of state and they're calling in asking, well, why didn't you do this, or why are you wanting to charge me this much for this, and it's like, well. Right. You got to come and actually see what we're looking at here. You're going off of some pictures. You need to actually see. Like, I promise you.
That's a funny part that you brought up, because a lot of times we've had clients do that.
I can just send you a picture, or I don't even have to be on the property.
Oh, yeah.
You just assess it and send me an estimate.
No, always go.
And
Learn that
Yes.
lesson.
because you know what?
Yes.
Let's just let's set up a time.
Yeah.
Right? Because I mean, we've been there where okay, this should work.
Yeah.
And then they have no idea. They
First
have no
red flag. It's
understanding.
not that bad.
Red flag. The red
not
flags
bad.
of the industry.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
It's like you start to pick up
It
those
shouldn't
cues.
take long.
Oh,
right.
yes. Yeah.
Nope.
It's not that bad. It's not that dirty. It's
You
not
get
that
there and you're
Right.
like,
Forget the cleaning.
it's
Oh
not
my
good.
God.
And there aren't that many leaves, and you're like, oh, yeah, okay.
no, there's not leaves, but you have 7 pine trees back here.
Correct.
And you expect all
Correct.
these
So
to
it's
be
all
picked up.
like,
Yeah.
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 Would you say right? It's just
Those are the red flags.
there. It's true. Red flag. So many different things, right? Like you said too. It's like, what you're going to charge this much? Because okay, you obviously don't know what
Yeah,
you
what
have
goes
here
into it.
and what goes into it.
Absolutely.
And when you're estimating and writing up all the information that goes into what you're giving your client, do you try to just be as detailed as possible? Do you kind of do an in general broad scope including everything, or do you break like this is what material, this is what labor, do you just clump it together?
We don't break it down. Like we have our broken down version, and if they request to see it, we'll show them. But we just give them the main price.
Yeah, that's. I
Agreed.
mean, we won't go detailed, but it'll, if
You're gonna give a
maybe
scope,
some
a broad
some
scope.
line items
Yeah.
here or there, and kind of break the general
Yeah.
primary
Yeah.
things down. But as far as like man-hour rates and material costs and things like that. Like I said, unless they request it or they're like, hey, can we, interchange this for that? Other than that, it's usually more of a bulk number because you get into it where clients, and I get it, but, clients, they'll see it and they'll be like, well, why don't you not do that or not?
Yes.
Well, then you're not going to get the product. We're going to at the end. You're
The
not
end
going to be
result,
happy.
right, the end result.
You're not going to be happy. You're asking for this full picture.
The cause and effect.
here's what's going to cause. And now you're wanting to pick pieces out.
Yeah.
That causes at the end. And we talk to clients all the time whenever they want to start singling certain things out or doing this, and it's like, well, we have to say no because it's like at the end, that's how we got rid of our bi-weekly clients.
Yeah.
It's like at the end, we don't get to present our name on a project we're happy with.
Yeah.
And I promise you're not going to be happy. I mean, I understand that
That's
financially that's where it sits, but we can't provide that service because I
It's gonna
promise
be
at the
half
end,
done.
nobody's going to be
Half done.
happy. Yeah, we learned that. So. No more
Agreed.
bi-weekly.
No,
that is a good
I
one.
have to agree. Right? Same
Yeah.
for us too. We've just noticed, and hourly, we just do that fixed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fixed
That's
rate
what we do.
because
Here's your price.
Yep.
the client will nitpick at every look.
Yeah.
Well, your team arrived here, but they left sooner than. It goes, hey, this is the project.
Yep.
This is what's going to happen. If it's a flat rate, whether we spend overtime, then that was on our part.
exactly.
If it's overtime, it's like then you make out better than we did. But it's like this is what we think.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be.
Yeah.
Yes, we found that too. That it's
And then when we were doing like hourly rates, we found that we were trying to hurry to get it done because we wanted to give the customer the best deal.
right,
kind of.
right, that's right,
Right.
You don't want to be like, oh, look on your phone real quick and let me see you, and then you're like, well, that
Right, it
counts
just
the hour.
right. In a sense, the stress level is so much higher.
Yeah,
than
and
just
we
saying
took no
this
breaks.
is the fixed. Right. I'm not gonna have lunch because
Yeah.
we have to just
Yeah.
work straight through.
Right.
And-
Yep.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
we've noticed that. We've noticed that too. But I think everyone, thank you so much.
awesome
This
talking
is
to you.
so
Ladies,
amazing.
amazing.
Touch points on anything else. I'm like, I feel like this
I
was
could
fun.
sit here and talk all day.
Yeah.
No, it's so true. Ladies.
Owning a business and being an entrepreneur, and
It
especially in
just-
this, there you could go on and on and on.
Yeah, there's so
so
many
many
aspects.
experiences every day. There's something that you can just kind of tick down in the book.
I mean,
of, okay,
it's funny because you look at lawyers and you look at all these different professions and how we kind of encapsulate some of the things because it's like you need to have contracts and the wording has to be
Semantics
right,
online.
the semantics, and especially when you're writing those estimates or a monthly plan or something of that sort, and it's just too funny when you're trying. We kind of encapsulate all of
of
those
it.
things. It's multifaceted. Anyway, ladies, it's been amazing.
amazing.
Thank you so much.
you.
Like you
Wonderful
said, we
women
could
in the
just keep
industry.
talking. Amazing women in the industry here. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Please make sure to give Echo Means Business a shout out and a follow. There's so many resources and tips. You get to talk with pros with knowledge just like this. So please be sure, again, to check out Echo Means Business to meet more pros and get to learn more about the UAG and have, again, all the resource right at your fingertips. So thank you, and we'll see you all next time.